Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What a wild weekend we are coming out of, ladies and gents. The probably biggest and most busy weekend of sports coverage here on the channel. 4 games, 3 days. We got through them all. Somehow my voice is still here. Started out with a bit of a low, the Pittsburgh Penguins losing Friday, and then my Pitt Panthers getting the doors blown off of them on Saturday. But here on a Monday, vibes are high. Yesterday, a double win. The Pittsburgh Penguins getting the 4-0 shutout victory over there in Sweden against the Nashville Predators, and the Pittsburgh Steelers taking down, declawing the Cincinnati Bengals, a whopping score of 34-12. We are going to start talking about that game here in a moment. Lots to unpack from what happened in the game itself. Carrying off the field, Aaron Rodgers, a little bit dinged up in that game. What his injury status is, we will discuss. And, of course, all anyone can talk about, the spitgate between Ja'Marr Chase and Jalen Ramsey. Everyone's been talking about it. We just got news on Ja'Marr Chase and what is going to happen to him a little bit before we went live here tonight. So we will start off the show talking about that here in a moment. Before we get this wild Monday going here officially, I want to put out there right now, if you are new here to the channel, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the Steel City Sports Report. Hit that subscribe button if you would please. Turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Also, go give this channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Tune back in later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Like this video or live stream, share this live stream so we can get more viewers in here, and leave a comment in the comment section. Thoughts, questions, opinions that all of you have on whatever it is from over this weekend. Could be the Steelers, could be the Penguins, the Pirates. They made a little bit of news, not the good kind for the most part. Anything on your mind, get those into the comment section right now on this Victory Monday. We go into the comment section right now. Concepts, who was here yesterday, happy Victory Monday to all who celebrate, and Concepts getting right in to the Ja'Marr Chase and Aaron Rodgers news here today. Ja'Marr Chase, moments ago, 1-game suspension handed out to him for spitting on Jalen Ramsey yesterday. Concepts, I think the NFL went easy on Ja'Marr. Should have been ejected, plus a 1-game suspension equals 2 game checks. So the fine should equate to a full game check for him. Also, I think you really got it right on the going light. Should have gotten a game suspension automatically for the spitting. But also, you want to talk about him lying about it after the fact, too. That should have been at least a little bit more dough sprinkled on top than what they're giving him. Maybe even another game suspension. Blatantly lying to the media, saying that you didn't do anything when you know you are in an NFL football stadium. There are hundreds of cameras around that place. High definition cameras. They caught his ass in 4K, and he still went out and lied about it like he thought he was going to get away with it. So I agree with you there, Concepts. Also, Aaron Rodgers. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, been a Mason fan since he was drafted and own his jersey. Which quarterback are you comfortable starting with if they are both 100% healthy? I like what both bring to the table differently. Not going to sugarcoat it here. Rodgers did get hurt yesterday. That absolutely sucks. Though I'd be lying to myself if I said that I wasn't a tiny bit underwhelmed by his performance. Coming off of the game he had against the Chargers now 2 weekends ago, I was expecting a more, gunslinger, throw it all over the yard with accuracy and put on a hell of a show type performance from Aaron Rodgers. The win affected him. 25-mile-an-hour winds at least yesterday there at Acrisure Stadium, but it kind of felt like it was more towards the Aaron Rodgers we saw from Sunday night, 2 Sunday nights ago, than we did the Aaron Rodgers that was dicing up this Bengals defense when they played on Thursday Night Football. Mason, do I have comfortability with him for a couple of games? Yes. If this Rodgers injury is going to keep him out for a little bit, We're still waiting for a definitive answer on what it is. We know it is a wrist injury. How long it's going to keep him out, I've seen conflicting reports. But am I comfortable with Mason Rudolph for a couple of games? Yes. For the rest of the season, heading into playoffs, if this is a more serious injury for Rodgers, then I would say no. Rudolph, hell of a backup. I think one of the best backups in the NFL, and I would like to keep him that way. He was brought back specifically for reasons like what you saw yesterday, coming in a pinch, maybe play a game, maybe two, and then yield to the guy behind him. Don't want to overexpose Mason too much. That is what I am fearful of if that winds up happening. If that winds up happening here. Also, concepts again hitting on all three of the top topics. We're going to get into winners and losers here in a second. I'm probably going to forego the recap of the game yesterday. I think there were somewhere around 16 something total points scored in the first half. Kind of an offensive slug for both teams after they scored on their opening drives. And then Mason Rudolph and the offense, they come in, do just enough to keep things afloat for the Steelers. The defense, 2 defensive turnovers. They then completely shut down the Bengals offense. So that's pretty much the entire recap of the game yesterday. One of the top players here. I hope James Pierre starts over Darius Slay, even when Slay is healthy. Coverage, tackling, etc. Pierre is better in every way in 2025. What are your thoughts? Who would have thought that James Pierre, we'd be talking here right now, that he is maybe the top corner on this team? Yes, should Pierre play over Slay when he's healthy? Has Slay given us any sort of reason for him to get some sort of starting role back? I don't think so this year. But yeah, coverage, he's been outstanding. Had a very nice PBU deep downfield on Jamar Chase yesterday. Tackling, I think, he's guaranteed to be a better tackler than some of the starters at corner out there, just because he's forced to do it when he plays special teams. But yeah, Pierre, any expectations, which you didn't really think that much of him because he was expected to be just a special teams guy for this team this year. Any expectations you've had, he has exceeded them to the ultimate limit here. So I'm happy for James Pierre. Hopefully he can keep it up. THP comes in, not even with a question or comment today, just man bought a Mason Rudolph jersey. Wild. LOL. Oh, that's hilarious. Also, THP, you bring in here, Mason Rudolph isn't starting over a 65% Aaron Rodgers. That is where things get tricky. I have heard that debate here today. If Rodgers, if he's, hovering around that 70% functionality range, would you trust him to, go out there and perform better than Mason Rudolph? I'm teetering on that fence right now, but just trying to think here. Aaron Rodgers, he is going to be the reason, or one of the reasons, that if you are going to win a playoff game this year, he's going to need to play. Mason Rudolph, I would rather have him play and have Rodgers get back to near 100% for the ending of this season so that he's healthy heading into playoffs. I'm not going to risk him even more injury here in week 12 coming up. I'd rather take my chances to have Rudolph beat the Bears at least, who I think are, kind of mid. You don't know what you're going to get with them. And then also, I think the Bills, which with Rodgers, do you really think you're going to beat the Bills? I'm not sure of that right now. So I'd rather play Rudolph if Rodgers is 65% and have AR ready for when the playoffs roll around, because that is why you brought him in. You're sick of all the mediocre quarterback play. As of late, you bring in Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, very experienced in the postseason. That is why you brought Aaron Rodgers in, for him to play in those big matchups. And I'd rather have him sit out against the Bears, which he owns, and do all that. I want him to be as healthy as he can be for the final stretch here of the season. Catching up on your comments here. Different comments from Concepts, THP, my dad in here, Tyrone. Welcome back, Tyrone. Glad to have you here. Should be a 2-game suspension for Ramsey ejection and 1 game and 2 game checks got off easy. Yeah, I think so. To agree with every single bit you said there. I would have given him the 2 games because, yes, he should have been ejected. The referees just plain out missed that one. They missed a ton of stuff yesterday. Trust me, they're going to come up in the winners and losers segment here in a moment. But yeah, I would have given him a game for the spit act itself, and I would have given him another game because he should have been gone, just like Ramsey, and lied to everyone's face. Knew what he did. Literally, little kid standing there next to the broken vase with no one else in the house except for him and his mom, and he said, "I didn't do it. I don't know what the hell you talking about. Get the hell out of here." And then mom looks at the security camera that they have there, the Ring camera that they have set up, or Alexa camera, whatever the hell, and say, "Oh, look, you literally pushed it right off because I told you not to horse around." So yeah, I would have given him 2 games for that. To look in here, my dad in here, Mount Washington shoving Bengals like they were nothing. I'm pretty sure Darnell Washington is still out there running around, and the Bengals haven't left yet. He's still slapping around. At this point, you can just put Darnell Washington 1 against 11 in there, and he'll probably gain positive yardage. I'm tempted. I really am. I'm tempted to say, Arthur Smith, please, just for once, just to see how it looks, dial up 1 play where you have your jumbo tight end package, but instead of Darnell Washington being one of the guys blocking, I want him lined up in the backfield as a fullback. I want to give that man a handoff because I have full confidence he's going to tuck his head. He's going to run over a defensive lineman, take a couple of linebackers with him, and he'll get an 8-yard gain or something like that on a run. So I am all in on Darnell Washington. I think he's due for a big boy contract coming up here, and if it's starting to get to the point where if you would have to maybe offload a Jonnu Smith, which he would be the easy candidate for how he's performed this season, it might even be approaching territory where you can have a conversation who should be TE1, Freiermuth or Washington, because when you give that big man the football, doesn't matter if he's in space or not, he's not going down on first contact. It's going to need to take 2 or 3 players swarming him on the field to bring him down, and even then, it's not a guarantee. THP in here just watched the Ramsey Chase spit video. Man, definitely spit on Ramsey wild. You're just now rewatching it. I don't know what you got going on the day-to-day, THP, but I'm a little shocked that it took you over 24 hours now since the game ended for you to now find that video. It's been everywhere. I love the edits people put out there as well, where it's the video of Chase on top saying, "Oh, I didn't spin on him. I didn't spin on him." And it's just that re-looping over and over and over again. And then you got literally the video of him hawking a loogie on Ramsey at the bottom. So, yeah, I agree with it there. Chase saying he didn't is crazy, says THP. I got something even crazier, too, coming up here when we address that in a moment. But yeah, Chase did hawk a loogie on him. That was saying that he didn't, even crazier than that. Looking here, concepts clear, sprayed him, wild. Yeah, and I have no idea where the officials were there as well. It was like during a little bit of a break where the Bengals took a timeout or something, so the referees weren't really looking, and a water boy was coming out to hand Jamar Chase a water, and yeah, no idea how they missed it. Usually there should be some sort of camera or expedited review saying, "Hey, both of them should be tossed," but that wasn't the case. Okay, THP, I see what you got there. My bad. Oh, lots of comments in here from you guys. 10 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream, talking Steelers to begin the live stream here tonight. Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, Darnell Washington, James Pierre, Jamar Chase. We are talking about it all today. So your thoughts, questions, opinions, feel free to get those in the comment section. Going to catch up on a few more comments here, and then I will officially get this show started with some of the content that I have jotted down here. Let's see here. got some other comments. Tyrone Chase mad he got clamped, so he spit on my dog J-Ram. Funny thing is, it wasn't even Ramsey covering him, but Ramsey did talk his stuff, and he loves doing that. He got clamped by James Pierre. I said this yesterday on stream. Imagine if you were to go back in time and tell a Steeler fan a couple months ago, all right, you play the Bengals twice in the span of a month. In game one, Jamar Chase, he is going to put up some godly Jerry Rice, Randy Moss type numbers, 16 catches, over 160 yards and a touchdown. He's going to look like one of the best wide receivers you've ever seen 1 week. And then the next time you play him, he's going to get clamped up by a special teamer and a fourth-string corner at the time, is what we would have called Brandon Echols back in the offseason. So the duality, the craziness of football on a week-to-week basis, that's it right there. And, yeah, he definitely got a little mad, little teed off by that. End of the day, can't hit someone, but that was warranted. I did get, I think it was Freight Train who's in here. He got a hold of me after the game, wasn't able to watch the live stream or the game, but he said, don't understand why Ramsey would do it, or said that he didn't like that Ramsey punched him. I'm going to point this out right now. I do not condone any sort of violence, and I do not, like that Ramsey got kicked out of the game. I mean, the game, I think then was still a 10-point game, something like that. And you got to know who's behind you. It's Chuck Clark coming into the game. He's been a pretty hot mess this season. So don't like that Ramsey got kicked out of the game. All I'm saying is that heat of the moment, a man spits on you, you see red. I probably would have done the same thing. I don't condone it, but I understand it. I understand it 100%. And even Ramsey, after the game, said that he got off lucky because he would have done a ton more had, I think, officials or something, or a Bengals player didn't come in. So I agree there. 11 of you in here right now. Let's just real quick get this thing going more. I'm sure we are going to talk about Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey throughout the show here today. Real quick, we'll just give a really half-assed recap of the game and what went down yesterday. You see the final score there, 34-12 Steelers over Bengals. The first half, it was really, hey, let's get the crowd all pumped up, back-to-back opening drive touchdowns for both teams. Kenneth Gainwell gets the edge on a reception out of the backfield. He scores a touchdown. T. Higgins on a scramble play scores a touchdown for the Bengals. And then after that, the following drives by teams: punt for the Steelers, punt for the Bengals, punt for the Steelers, punt for the Bengals, punt for the Steelers, punt for the Bengals, field goal for the Steelers, and then the half. There's some stuff mixed in there. Darnell Washington running over a couple of Bengals players. The Steelers getting hosed on some penalty calls. All that fun stuff. Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. But relatively, other than the first, two series of the game, a boring first half. Third quarter, that is when we saw things turning in favor of the Steelers. Bengals out of half were able to kick a field goal. I believe that made the game a 1-point game again. Steelers responded with a field goal of their own. I believe they got down close to the Bengals end zone and then just couldn't convert in the red zone. So they kick a field goal. Kyle Duggar responds for the Steelers, gets a 74-yard pick sticks. Just insane run back for Kyle Duggar, made up for a dropped interception he had earlier in the game. It hit him right in the hands. This time, dropped down from his safety position, was in a robber roll, watching the quarterback, threw it right to him. He runs it back, makes a couple of men miss, including Jamar Chase. Pick six there. The Bengals, they get a field goal, make it an 8-point game. Steelers, they go down the field again on offense, and it's another receiving touchdown for Kenneth Gainwell. Mason Rudolph connecting pretty well on that drive with his passes. I think that really settled fans in. Was a 5-yard touchdown pass to Kenneth Gainwell. That was the Kenny G legacy drive right there. Most of those plays were checkdowns, and he got outstanding yak, and a couple of those were some long third down conversions, which were very, very reassuring. The Bengals down by, I think, 2 scores at that point. They had a must get a touchdown drive. First play, Noah Fant fumbles the ball, picked up by James Pierre, ran back for a touchdown. He did his best Antonio Brown impersonation, somersaulting into the end zone. The Bengals, pretty much at that point, they accepted defeat, didn't really do any sort of hurry-up offense. They turned the ball over on downs. Steelers forcing 2 incompletions back-to-back. Rudolph comes in for the kneel-down. Final score, 34-12. Heard from a couple of different Steelers players after the game. You had, I think, Mike Tomlin talking about the Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase situation. Forget what Tomlin said exactly, but he just sort of passed it off like he knew Ramsey was in the right for doing what he did. He didn't want to, accept what Ramsey did, but just sort of played it off. Broderick Jones, much respect for Broderick Jones, even despite what I may say in the winners and losers segment. He gutted through a groin injury to play in this game, said that it was bugging him all day. It was him stretching it out in between plays that got him through the game. So much respect for Broderick Jones. Jaylen Warren, he ended up getting injured in the second half of that game, twisted his ankle. He said that he could have returned, did after getting his ankle taped up, went back in there for a couple of runs, but then it was Kenneth Gainwell the rest of the way from there. Said that he could have returned if he wanted to, but they wanted to play it smart. And Mason Rudolph, getting into the game, said that it was really, really nice going out there, getting a very loud, positive reception from the fan base there in Pittsburgh. I like that for him a whole bunch, and said that he loves it here in Pittsburgh. It's where he was drafted, and that it's home for him. Glad to have you back there, Mustache Mason. Going to get into winners and losers of the game right now. Winner number 1 yesterday for Steelers versus Bengals. I couldn't separate one guy from the rest. I could have if I really wanted to, but this unit just played so well together. I couldn't elevate one above the other because it was a team effort. Steelers defensive backs, they are winner numero uno yesterday for the Steelers. I'll put it this way. I don't need to say much beyond this. They held the best wide receiver duo. I still think they are the best wide receiver duo in the NFL, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, to a combined 6 receptions, 93 yards, 1 touchdown on a broken play on the first drive of the game. And that came, those 6 receptions, 18 targets for those 2. 6 receptions allowed, under 100 yards. That is going to get you an A+++ on the report card 9 times out of 10. Very rarely did you see anyone streaking wide open for the Bengals yesterday, unlike what happened in the first meeting between these two teams. The Steelers playing that too high safety look more often. It is working, and it worked a whole lot against the Bengals. From an individual standpoint, we mentioned him a moment ago, James Pierre. He's got to be the top player in that secondary. He was on Jamar Chase for a good bit of that game, and he locked him up. Who would have guessed a couple of months ago, like I said, that Pierre would be in conversation for the best corner on the team, and that he would have a Darrelle Revis type of performance against the best wide receiver in football. He was going to be a winner in this conversation as best corner from that game, no matter what. But the cherry on top, that big scoop and score touchdown kind of put the game on ice right there. I love that for James Pierre. I believe I said yesterday before the game in my pregame notes that going up against this wide receiver duo, 1, maybe 2 of the 3 healthy corners for the Steelers right now, regular corners, Eccles, Pierre, Porter. I was saying that one, maybe two of those gentlemen were going to need to play the game of their life for the Steelers to shut down this Bengals offense. And Pierre, he definitely did. So kudos to him. It makes it even more remarkable, like I said, that Chase had that game, 16 catches, a little over a month ago, and then Pierre goes and puts him in the car seat yesterday. A couple other defensive backs for the Steelers yesterday. I want to make note of Kyle Duggar, looking like the steal of the trade deadline. Omar Khan, if that trade for Kyle Duggar was made maybe on deadline day, fans would have been, clapping it up for Omar Khan. I think, his inaction on deadline day, I mean, sure, not getting a wide receiver too may come back to bite him in the ass sooner or later, probably is already, but getting Duggar, outstanding pickup for him. He is filling in very, very nicely for Deshaun Elliott. Pick six, pivotal play of the game, probably the play of the game. At that point, still a close game. You don't know which way it's going to lean, and Duggar comes up big with a play, extends the Steelers' lead to 2 scores, and massive play for him. Glad that he is here. Also, some brownie points, like I said, that he made up for the opportunity he missed earlier in the game. Brandon Echols, another strong game for him. Covered T. Higgins a good bit, was sort of flip-flopping between him and Jamar Chase there for a bit. Covered a Yoshivas for a while as well. Any matchup he was in, didn't look overwhelmed. Did well with sticky in coverage. Joey Porter Jr., he is sneakily putting together, stacking some good performances. JPJ, he's playing more physical at the line of scrimmage, legally within the 5 yards, being less handsy downfield. We're starting to see him develop that mean streak that he gets from his dad more as well. And loud, boisterous as ever, just like Jalen Ramsey getting into the heads of opposing wide receivers. So keep an eye out on Joey Porter Jr. He is slowly stacking good games and maybe getting into that realm of the Shea Townsend, like we thought, or Ike Taylor, like we thought he was going to be. Just a out there corner, not making a ton of headlines, which is a good thing. Just doing his job out there, keeping the opposing quarterback from looking to his side of the field. And then, of course, the last DB you got to talk about, Jalen Ramsey. We'll talk about him a whole lot here in a moment, but I just thought he, again, safety, clearly where he is best suited right now at this point in his career. Free roaming back there in the secondary, taking away deep shots, coming up, laying the boom on some opposing players. Love that from Ramsey. Hopefully he's able to keep it up. All in all, I'm going to give the defense an A for their performance, but I think it was led very clearly by the output of the secondary. 2 defensive touchdowns from that unit, and their only blemish, like I said, was T. Higgins somehow getting wide open on that busted coverage, but I'm going to put that back on coaching. I think Jack Sawyer was the closest Steeler in the area. A+ for the Steelers secondary. Continuing along here, winners and losers. Going to try to get through these quickly so I can get back to your comments. Loser, number 1 yesterday for the Steelers. I'm going to go with their first half offense. Yesterday felt like another slow start for the Steelers, despite their first drive touchdown. Yeah, cool. You put up 7 points again to start off the game, but then you suck all the energy and life out of the fan base when you go 3 straight drives where you punt. Just can't happen if you're the Steelers offense. As a matter of fact, yesterday they continued this horrendous streak. According to Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Steelers have now failed to score more than 7 points in the first quarter in 85 straight games. To make that sound even worse, the last time the Steelers scored more than 7 points in the first quarter, the offense that is, that came in Week 10 of the 2020 season against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they haven't been able to buck this trend despite scoring on the opening drive in 7 of 10 games this season. 7 times this season, They've put up 4 touchdowns and 3 field goals, not able to do anything beyond those opening, scores of the game. So they need to figure it out. I don't know if we need better game planning from Arthur Smith, better execution from the players, and that they don't need to warm up in the game, better, starts for Aaron Rodgers or whoever's at quarterback. I don't know, but please figure it out. If you get off to a hot start, keep it rolling. Don't just have a one and done on the opening drive of the game. Winner number 2 yesterday for the Steelers. Easy pick here. Darnell Washington. He right now the owner of the most talked about play from any NFL game this weekend, committing 2 acts of unspeakable brutality on 3 Cincinnati players near the end of the second quarter. Runs a crosser across the field towards the Steelers sideline. Rodgers puts it on the money. Stiff arms Barrett Carter, rookie linebacker for the Bengals, into the nether realm. Then I believe it's Geno Stone comes up, tries to tackle him, just bounce off of him like it's a little kid trying to jump on their dad. And then at the end of the run, obviously was going out of bounds. DJ Turner, he just gets like a deer meets a semi-truck in the middle of the night. It was insane there from Darnell Washington. I think I was watching the game here, and I'm trying my best to keep commentary going. And I look and I just stop saying what the play is, what's going on, what the play is happening here. And I'm like, oh my God. So Darnell Washington, he is on a whole new level right now in all aspects of his game, catching the ball, run blocking, pass blocking. He's doing it all right now. 4 catches yesterday, 67 yards. This man got so much attention that Chad Ochocinco, former Bengal, now wants to box him. He's put it right out there on his Twitter. Don't know if that's a drunk post or what from Ochocinco, but Washington did reply saying, just replying with a couple of laughing emojis, he would destroy Chad Johnson. Which, by the way, did he ever come through on his promise to box James Harrison? Chad, not really downgrading that much, going from fighting Debo to fighting a 6'7", 300-pound tight end who can be a suitable offensive lineman in the league. So might want to stay in your lane there, Chad. Loser yesterday, second loser. Officials, the referees, the line judges, all of them, they were just bad, terrible. Up there, maybe even slightly worse than what we saw from the officiating against the Packers 2 weeks ago. No particular order here, just some brutal calls that they missed. A clear hold on Cam Hayward that I think led to the Bengals converting a 3rd down early in the game. They missed that. By the way, shout out Cam, played his 221st game as a Steeler yesterday, second most in team history. There was a terrible roughing the passer call on TJ Watt. That was just horrendous. Then, speaking of roughing the passer, nothing called when Aaron Rodgers got planted by 3 Bengals. That's the play he got hurt on. Pretty sure just now left tackle Orlando Brown for the Bengals just false started for the millionth time. Not a single false start call on him. He was doing it all game. There was another bad OPI call on DK Metcalf. Just as bad as the one from the Chargers game. Nothing out of the ordinary there. To keep things fair and a little unbiased here, I still have no clue how Connor Hayward converted the Steelers' second push attempt of the game. I thought for sure he was held short, and they were and I think they blew the whistle before, as soon as his forward progress was stopped, very quick with the whistle, and they did, call it right in the end, but in terms of them blowing the whistle early, he was nowhere close. And then see me peeking over here towards my TV screen off to my right, the biggest miss of the game for the officials, them missing Jamar Chase, spitting on Jalen Ramsey, who they just showed the video of right there. So not a good game for the Zebras. We talked about it on stream yesterday, why the NFL doesn't have full-time referees or are pushing heavily for former players to be officials so that we can get a cleaner, more consistent product out there. I don't know, but the Steelers, this trend of them getting very bad officiating crews, it's got to stop sometime soon, right? Another winner yesterday for the Steelers, the third winner here. Kenneth Gainwell, going to give him a nice winner's cap. I don't know what it is with this guy. When Jaylen Warren is in there, he is just another guy, passenger on the boat here for the Steelers. But when Jaylen Warren is out injured, Kenneth Gainwell, he like a werewolf in the night, just turns into prime Le'Veon Bell. 9 carries, 24 yards yesterday. Running game wasn't what he was being talked about, though. As a receiver, he did major damage. Took 7 catches. Most of them were check downs. Got unbelievable yards after the catch. 81 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Just, he made plays, making guys miss. I'm going to give Gainwell his kudos. Really helped ice that game away offensively, especially when Rodgers and Warren were both down. So I'm back, Gainwell back in our good graces. I think it's fair to say. I hope that Jaylen Warren, he's not too hurt with his ankle, like he said. He could have gone back in there, but if he does end up, missing some time or getting his snap count cut back a little bit more, Gainwell stepping up when he's not around, if he plays like that, then I'll sleep well at night. Wrapping up winners and losers here, just some loose end winners and losers. Not going to get too much into them. Winner, the Wisconsin Badgers football program. Again, TJ Watt, no sacks, but 2 big pass defenses. Nick Herbig, he got another sack yesterday on Joe Flacco in place of Alex Highsmith, who missed with a pec injury. A loser, small loser. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. Like I said at the top of the program here, this isn't, Rodgers taking an L because he got injured. But before the injury, before he went out, I still think that he left a lot to be desired coming off that horrible game against the Chargers. 9 for 15, 116 yards passing, 1 touchdown pass, another, throw out to the flat for Kenneth Gainwell, where all he needed to do was get the edge and get into the end zone. At moments, he still looked a little bit skittish in the pocket, which who can blame him? Had a throwaway or a short completion, I forget what it was, that he missed Roman Wilson down the field wide open, and had another overthrow of DK Metcalf that would have been a big game as well. Not going to be too harsh on him. Like I said, ended up getting injury, so I'm not going to kick the guy while he's down. Also, didn't really agree with Arthur Smith's play calling in the first half because, like I said, 25-mile-an-hour winds, and you're going to have Rodgers throwing the ball 15 times. Don't understand that. Mason Rudolph, subsequent with Rodgers, he gets a W, 12 of 16, 127 yards, and a touchdown pass in relief. Quarterback rating of 118.5. I think I speak for everyone. We are really happy that Mason Rudolph is back in the black and gold because coming in like that in a pinch, really, really good. When you get to see your starter go out of the ball game and your backup comes in and you're like, all right, I have tremendous amount of faith that we're not going to see too much of a drop off here between our starter and our quarterback. It's not meant to be a shot on anyone here. It's meant to be a praise of Rudolph. It's a good feeling that Rudolph went in there, had the success that he had. Fans love him. Glad that he's back. Keep it going, Mason. If your number ends up getting called upon again. Another loser, some certain moments for the Steelers offensive line. Running game didn't get going as much as I would have liked yesterday. The quarterbacks were under duress more than I would like, going up against a defensive front that doesn't have Shamar Stewart or Trey Hendrickson for Cincinnati. They did do well, getting out in space, setting up screens for Kenneth Gainwell and such, but the little other details of the game, I would still like to see them refine. And then the final extra winner that I have from yesterday, Jaylen Warren, he gets a W. Yes, went out with his injury, but really that big drive that started the game for the Steelers, that opening touchdown drive, that run that he had, making multiple Bengals players missed, that's going to be a win for him. So very, very glad to see that there from Jaylen Warren. Hopefully he is all right, like I said earlier. And that is going to do it here for winners and losers of Steelers Bengals. Here in a moment, we're going to get into some updates on Aaron Rodgers' injury status and the Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase spitting situation. Going to catch up on some more comments here from likes of Tyrone Concepts, THP. THP was in bed by 5 p.m., excuse me. LOL, read about it happening, but initially didn't see it. That's all right. THP. Chase didn't spit on anyone, double negative, so technically he admitted to spitting. Yeah, sorry, had to. Yeah, true. You gonna want to go by grammar policing there. I didn't spit on no one, so technically didn't lie. Double negative indeed. Tyrone Keaton, JPJ talking his shit though. Yeah, like I said, Peasy, he's always a talkative guy. He gets that from his dad, gets that mean streak from his dad, Peasy Sr. as well. But now that he's starting to put up some lockdown performances and not, taking any penalties, I don't think Porter didn't have a penalty yesterday, right? Nothing on him. So, hey, we're moving in the right direction. Yeah, he keeps it up, then you might be able to start talking about a not high-end corner, but somewhat lucrative second contract for Porter. Tyron JPJ, very underrated. Yeah, very underrated performances he's putting up recently. Concepts, Kenny G, game ball on offense, Duggar or Pierre on defense, Ramsey, honorary game ball. All of those guys I give kudos to yesterday. Ramsey, you want to talk about, we'll get into that Jamar Chase thing here in a moment. I liked his play overall. I was going to start off talking about the Jamar Chase update with the fact that Ramsey hit him really hard. I see Bengals fans, they're crying about Ramsey lighting up Chase from behind when he didn't catch a ball early in the game. Like, it's football. Literally, the ball wasn't on the ground for more than a second. Ramsey's already launched. What do you want him to do? And that's a tone setter. Don't tell me if Jamar Chase was playing DB, if the roles were reversed here. Don't tell me that Jamar Chase wouldn't have taken the same liberties there to set the tone with a shot like that. So get the hell out of here. But yeah, Duggar, Pierre, Kenny G, all of those guys, massive components of yesterday's win. Concepts, the man, the myth, the mustache, Mason Rudolph, Mustachio Mason. There's a couple other nicknames I saw for him. I'm kind of forgetting, but yeah, Mason. Is he going to be a starter, long term here for the Steelers? Probably not. Do I have faith in him carrying this team the rest of the way into playoffs and getting a win? Probably going to say no right now, but if he can fill in here like he did for Rodgers and do similar things in the next couple of games, if Rodgers is out, I'll be cool with it, and Mason will have earned his keep. Pierre Island, of course, there from Concepts. And another one, TJ got robbed on that roughing call too, forced a punt there without the wrong call. Yeah, that was on a third down too. Steelers, they were off the field, and they called TJ on that, roughing the passer call. I want to say, looking back at that play, Flacco just made some sort of desperate attempt to, fling the ball away, and as Watt already has him wrapped up, Flacco puts himself in even more of a vulnerable position. At that point, it's not on TJ to protect him, and he did his best to not land on him with his full body weight. Gene Steratore, the rules analyst for CBS, came on 15 seconds after the fact and said, I wouldn't have thrown a flag on that play. Like, no kidding. So yeah, Watt got hosed there. The defense as a whole got hosed there because that gave the Bengals a free first down. And yeah, out of all the penalties I went through, Concepts, you're the tinfoil conspirator, anti-official guy here in our community. Did I miss anything in my recap of the poor calls from the officiating? Hold on Hayward, roughing the passer on TJ, roughing the passer missed on Aaron Rodgers, Metcalf OPI, a couple of other things as well I'm forgetting. But yeah, just bad day for the Zebras. Bungle fans crying that Ramsey hit, but conveniently ignoring Chase pushing off for a bogus TD in the first matchup. Short-term memory never fails, LOL. Yep, short-term memory for tons of those Bengals fans, because I mean, you can cite that there. You can cite, them getting a fake interception in that first matchup. If you want to go outside of the Steelers Bengals matchup here from yesterday, just go back to last weekend. Steelers didn't get a call on a unnecessary roughness call that was 10 times worse than that on Metcalf by Derwin James. What Ramsey did to Chase there, that's child's play compared to what happened to DK Metcalf last weekend. So, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time arguing with Bengals fans there. Just hold your L like a man, not like Jamar Chase lying about spitting on a man, which is where we're going to go to right now. Going to give a bit of an update here on the Aaron Rodgers situation from yesterday, and also the Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase situation going on. Aaron Rodgers, like I said, end of the second quarter, was able to stay in there for a couple of plays after this. Ends up getting not pile drived, but planted and landed on pretty good by 2 or 3 Cincinnati Bengals. Tried to catch himself with his left wrist, ends up jamming it. You can see immediately after he gets up, he's flexing his hand like this, grabbing his wrist like this. Stayed in there for 2 plays. I think both of them were handoffs. Maybe one of them was a pass, but goes right down the stairway right behind the Steelers bench to the locker room before anyone else. Come back from halftime. Burt Lawton, Steelers PR man, says Rodgers, it's a hand injury. He was questionable to return. Mike Tomlin out of half told the sideline reporter, we better get Mason ready to go. And, of course, Rudolph finishes the game. Rodgers does not return. Post-game, that is where we get some of the newer information that we didn't discuss yesterday on stream. Tomlin said he did talk to Aaron after the game. Aaron was excited about the win, but they did not talk about his wrist injury. Tomlin said that Rodgers would be reevaluated today, and that he would be confident in Rudolph if Rodgers would miss some time. I believe later on in the night, NBC, they showed on their Sunday Night Football pregame a video of Rodgers in the team tunnel. His hand is in his pocket, his left hand in his pocket, but it looks like he's wearing a black brace underneath his sweatshirt there. So looks like his hand was worked on and put in a brace, but nothing definitive. A little bit later on last night, Adam Schefter, he was the first to report what the injury is believed to be with Rodgers, said that the initial concern, it is a slight break in his left wrist, and that he would undergo further testing today. Don't think we've seen anything on that. I'll check Twitter here in a minute after we get through this segment. But, yeah, don't know the full extent of it yet. Schefter said it was a slight break. Could be a hairline fracture. Could be a multitude of things. Who knows? But then Ian Rappaport this morning came out with some additional information, said that to his understanding, Rodgers has told people in his inner circle close to him that he will be back very soon and that he is going to push to play against the Bears this upcoming weekend. Rappaport gave it a 50-50 shot for him to play, and I'm going to take Rappaport, what he says here. Trust me, Rappaport, very trustworthy NFL insider here, but what he says about Rodgers here, didn't Aaron Rodgers like a couple years ago told Rappaport, lose my number, you don't know what you're talking about. So we'll see. It is a little bit assuring that Rodgers is going to be pushing very, very hard to play. But like I said earlier, I want him, at least 90%, maybe 85% if he's going to go against the Bears. Anything less than that, I need him to make sure he's ready to go, because you got the Bills on your schedule, the Ravens twice, the Lions. I want him as close to healthy as he can possibly be for those games and for playoffs more than anything else. So please get right, Aaron. The other big topic yesterday from the game, the spit gate between Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase. Of course, Jalen not being accused of spitting here, but Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey, they went at it all game long. Ramsey, like I mentioned a moment ago, laying a big hit, setting the tone on Chase. They come together and jawed with each other on multiple plays. The play before, the picture you see here, I believe it was a tush-push attempt, a QB sneak on third down for Joe Flacco. The Bengals didn't get it. Chase and Ramsey seek each other out. Ramsey with words for Chase. Chase, I think I pointed this out in real time, takes a swipe at Ramsey's mouth guard hanging out of his face mask. Ramsey gives him a little bump with the face mask, face to face. They grab each other, full team 11-on-11 scuffle breaks out there. They separate. Browns line up again to run another play. They take a timeout. During that timeout, Ramsey, Chase, they meet, have words again, and there you see in the picture on your screen, Jamar Chase hawking some spit right onto, I assume, the chest of Jalen Ramsey. Soon as that happened, Ramsey gives one of those, really? No one see what he just did? Okay. Grabs Ramsey by the face mask, throws a little bit of a open-handed punch, slap, whatever you call it, to Chase. They lock up again. They eventually get pulled away by teammates. Chase, helmetless, trying to get after Ramsey. Ramsey, he gets tossed from the game with his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And, that was pretty much it. Everyone wondering, what really set off Ramsey. We thought initially it was just something that obscene that Chase must have said to have Ramsey go at him like that. Turns out after the game, Ramsey says that, quote, he spit on me. I don't give an F about football after that. Respectfully, I'm always going to be all for trash talking, crap talking, things like that. I actually enjoy that part of the game. I think that people know that. And then he further said, I was still a little too nice, if I'm keeping it honest with you. Spitting is what I'm not going to say that do. So Ramsey, very fired up after the game, got, like I said, I think, reassurance that what he did was wrong, but understandable from Mike Tomlin. Cam Hayward said as well, our guy got penalized, but if you're going to spit on a guy, you don't belong in the game. Hopefully the NFL handles that. Well, the NFL, they did indeed handle it, as you see there. If you read the little print below the channel's logo at the top of your screen, the NFL, despite Jamar Chase saying, I didn't spit on nobody, though he was caught on perfectly clear camera by Austin Brisky, who I believe is a reporter for a Cincinnati Fox station, caught on camera, Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey, he getting suspended by the NFL one game this afternoon. Similar suspension or similar deal to when Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter spat on Dak Prescott in game one of the season. So a one-game suspension for Jamar Chase. He did come out and say that he will appeal this. Suspension. There's absolutely no freaking way that he gets this appealed. In addition to the suspension, if the suspension is upheld on appeal, Chase, he will get, it would cost him over $500,000. His game check, which was a little under $500,000, and a almost $59,000 active roster bonus. One expensive loogie, says Tom Pelissero. Just some more loose things on this situation. The head official, Bill Vinovich, from yesterday, he was approached and asked a couple of questions about that altercation. He said that they would review the incident, but they did not see Chase spit in real time, and all they saw was Ramsey doing what he did, which led to the disqualification. Jamar Chase, declining to speak to reporters back in Cincinnati. Someone doesn't like accountability there, Jamar Chase. Someone does not want to talk after his hand got caught in the cookie jar and he lied about it. Zach Taylor, Bengals head coach, probably even worse than Ja'Marr Chase declining to speak to reporters and initially saying that he did not spit on anyone. Zach Taylor, Bengals head coach. I stand by Ja'Marr. It was an emotional moment, and a lot happened before that led up to that. I stand by Ja'Marr. You condone your players spitting on another person. That is some Charmel, Cottonelle, soft-ass stuff there by Zach Taylor. After this, Trey Essex, former Steelers offensive lineman, he had a post out there after this situation yesterday saying that, I like Ja'Marr Chase's game, and I did respect him, but when you do that, you lose all respect. I have lost all respect for Ja'Marr Chase. Welcome to some Vontaze Perfect territory there, Ja'Marr Chase, and you're lucky because Jalen, he is a man that does not forget, and man, wouldn't it have been nice to have the Bengals just one more time on the schedule this season to see any carryover from this situation. But that's the latest news we got. Aaron Rodgers, it is a small fracture in the wrist for him. Unknown how long it's going to keep him out. Hopefully we'll get, if we don't get any more information on that injury tonight, I'm sure I will probably get something tomorrow with Mike Tomlin's Tuesday press conference. And Ja'Marr Chase, after clearly caught on camera spitting on Jalen Ramsey, he suspended one game. Going to be fined a whole lot of money if his appeal is rejected. And what did Jalen Ramsey get out of this? Interesting. Ramsey not mentioned for any sort of punishment, no fine, no suspension on the release of the Chase suspension by the NFL. If I had to guess, Ramsey still might get, some change taken from him later in the week, but Ramsey not mentioned in the release. He won't be suspended, nor should he be. The only thing he's getting from this, Jalen Ramsey, a random, big air quotations, NFL drug test after being ejected. That was reported by Alan Saunders, who covers the Steelers yesterday. Ramsey getting hit with a drug test after yesterday's game. Little shocked that he is the one getting drug tested and not Darnell Washington getting randomly drug tested, because wasn't it who just got it? Wasn't it Jaylen Warren or someone who got randomly drug tested after a big game a couple weeks ago? But those are the situations and the updates there. Ramsey, all good for now. Ja'Marr Chase suspended. Aaron Rodgers still waiting for a definitive update on his wrist injury. Real quick, just going to scroll through X, see if there's anything new on that since we have been live. And then I'll get to the comments section again before we change gears. Seeing a bunch of Ja'Marr Chase. Got some big news in the college football world. I'll maybe mention passing by here in a moment. See here. Nope, not seeing anything on Aaron Rodgers, but Ja'Marr Chase suspended. As it should be. Going to go to the comment section here real quick. Concepts, lighting it up like normal. Shotgun snaps with an injured wrist is a scary thought. Yeah, really no adjustments after. You can see Rodgers flexing his wrist. I, would have at that point, just taken him out as a precaution, even though I know you're in the red zone and it's near in half, but think long term here, not just in the moment a little bit. We got Endo here. It has been reported that he has a fracture. Okay, so it is a fracture. Wonder if it's a hairline. I just wonder, is it going to be anything surgery required or not? Hopefully not. But I still stand on my take that if Rodgers is less than 90 to 85%, let Rudolph go out there. I have faith he'll be able to steal you one against the Bears. Let's look here. Concepts again, needs to be able to be tackled by Broderick. If his wrist prevents that, then he should play. Joking, of course. That's going to be the we'll see his participation be our guide from Mike Tomlin tomorrow. Yeah, Aaron, he has a wrist injury. We'll see how he does this week. We'll reevaluate him on Friday. The test, Broderick Jones is going to run and tackle him from behind again. We'll see how Rodgers is feeling then. Yeah, hopefully he's good. Rodgers there. Chase better never eat in a Pittsburgh restaurant again unless he wants. Oh, that's gross. That's gross. Yeah, you better, kid, because that is just gross. Perfect. Miles, Hushmanzada, Spellin, Pac-Man, and now Jamar. List is growing. Yep. Well, you want to stick it with the Bengals there. We'll remove Miles. He's in the Browns category, which, Miles, it took him swinging at Mason Rudolph's head with a helmet and connecting. It took that really for us to truly hate a Browns player. But usually we don't care about the Browns because, they are little brother. They're just bottom of the totem pole here. But yeah, Jamar Chase, tell me if I'm wrong. I think he's reached Vontez Burfict, Hushmanzada levels of hate and disdain from the fan base because you spit on a man, all bets are off then. Again, don't condone what Jalen Ramsey did. All I'm saying is that I understand it. If Ramsey were to fail the drug test, he could blame the spit for tainting the sample. Oh, I know we're not gonna go there, concepts. But yeah, ain't it weird? Random drug test administered by the NFL immediately after the game too. Did Ramsey even get back to the locker room and have a chance to use the bathroom? Did his shoulder pads even get off by then? I don't know. 9 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. Recapping for over an hour now the Steelers-Bengals game yesterday and every little bit of things that came along with it. The Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey incident, Aaron Rodgers injury, talking about some of the best performances from Steelers players yesterday. Going to switch up gears here real quick. We got one more segment before we get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news from the past couple of days. Going to change tracks here over to hockey just for a moment. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, this past weekend, the biggest weekend in this channel's short history, 4 games in 3 days, was live Friday for Penguins and Predators over there in Sweden, and then was live again for that game, sort of sandwiching the Pitt Notre Dame game in there, was live yesterday morning before the Steelers game for Penguins Predators game 2. Just a quick recap of what happened over there between the Preds and the Pens. By the way, shout out before I say anything here to the fans over there in Sweden. This NHL Global Series, absolutely electric, and it was very fun covering the Pens and how they played over there. Had 2 fantastic live streams covering those games. Tons of new people getting exposed and subscribing to the channel. So I appreciate each and every one of you who joined me for those games. Just a recap of what happened Friday. Not going to get too much into that game. Penguins, they played very ugly hockey. It was 0-0 after 1. Evgeny Malkin ended up scoring after banking the puck in off of a couple of Predators for the Pens' lone goal in that game. The Penguins, they were playing some ugly hockey, got outmatched by the Predators in just about every single way. They ended up blowing their 1-0 lead with a little over a minute left to go in regulation and gave up the game-winning goal 44 seconds into overtime. Penguins needed to rinse off that terrible showing really quickly because yesterday, Sunday morning, they were back in action, and a complete opposite end of the spectrum performance here from the Pens yesterday. They got off running hot early and often. Started off 2 minutes, 17 seconds into play. Parker Wotherspoon, a seeing eye shot through traffic from the point, got the party started. Then moments later, around the halfway point of the first period, Evgeny Malkin, another bank pass off of Predator from behind the net, made it 2-0. Sidney Crosby, probably 2 minutes later, from the about the hash marks from the right face-off circle, rips one past UC Saros. That made it 3-0. Pens, bit of some PTSD with them and holding 3-0 leads as of late, but they did hold this one. Second period, pretty even period play. Pens had some penalty trouble. There were a couple of heated altercations between Penguins and Predators players. But then third period, Pens went into defensive mode, shut down what the Predators were throwing their way. Blake Lizotte, the empty net goal. The final score, 4-0, that you see there. Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, like I mentioned, 2 goals in the first period. The Penguins now, very amazing stat from Bob Grove, who does some stat work for the Penguins. The Pens, when Crosby and Malkin both score in the same game, 132 times that has happened. The Penguins' record, 116, 10, and 6. Truly amazing stuff when the two-headed monster gets on the scoring sheet together. Also, be totally reminiscent if I didn't mention that big old goose egg over there for the Predators on your screen. Sergei Miroshov, a 23-save shutout in his second career NHL start, his first NHL win. He now becomes the first goaltender since Jeff Zakoff, Penguins legend, back in 2013 to get their first career win in a shutout. So congratulations to Sergei Miroshov. He also tied, I think, Dennis Herron as the fastest Penguin goaltender to record a shutout from the start of his career, 2 games played. 21 years old, Miroshov, the 6th youngest goaltender in Penguins franchise history to record a shutout. So shout out to the Pens. They take 3 of a possible 4 points over there in Sweden. They are on, I assume, they are already back stateside. If I had to guess, they probably left yesterday somewhere in the afternoon here, United States time. So they're back, recovering from a hard-fought 2-game series over there against Nashville. They will be off until Friday. So another week here of Penguins hockey, or hockey-less action here. The Penguins, who do they play Friday? Minnesota. Minnesota Wild is who they play Friday night, 7 p.m. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for the hardcore stuff to talk about today, the big topics. Gonna get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news here on the channel in a moment, but before we do that, back to the comment section for a couple of more comments, concepts. My bad, no more jokes. Just wondering if Ramsey will still lose his whole game check due to the wrongful ejection. Do players lose full game checks when ejected, and can that be disputed afterwards? I'm not sure if fines are able to be appealed. I don't know that, but if I had to guess, just sucks. Ramsey probably will lose his game check. NFL is going to make sure that this thing gets evened up both ways, because the two of them already had unsportsmanlike penalties against each other earlier, so it probably will happen. It probably will happen, but that's just unfortunate. And the other comment here, Freight Train in the comment section, late here, but need to burn that Pitt sweatshirt. Yeah, I probably do. You know, my Pitt Panthers, absolutely terrible against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But hey, it's okay, because the head coach, Pat Narduzzi, said we can lose by 100 as long as we beat the 2 ACC opponents coming up on the schedule. They should be in the conversation for the ACC title game. I do have a Steeler jersey on underneath this. I just haven't taken off this sweatshirt yet. Probably won't do it now that we're on stream here, but yeah, I'll be sure to not be too out there with some Pitt apparel for the next couple of days, maybe until they play Georgia Tech this weekend. Okay, gonna get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news from the past couple of days here, and then we will get back to your comment section to wrap up the show here today. Getting back into football for the extra Pittsburgh sports news of the day here. keeping tabs on what else is going on in the AFC North. The Steelers, they played the Bengals yesterday. Also, another AFC interdivision matchup yesterday. The Cleveland Browns taking on the Baltimore Ravens after the Steelers and Bengals played. Ravens ended up winning that game. I'm going to be honest, I don't really remember what the final score was. Probably 23-16, something like that. Dylan Gabriel, he gets knocked out of the game for the Browns, I think, with a concussion. Shedeur Sanders in for the Browns, and he had a legendary type of performance. Sanders in relief yesterday. No Mason Rudolph performance. 4 of 16 passing the ball, 47 passing yards, no touchdowns, an interception who he threw right to a Bengals defender. Knew that Sanders was cooked. What's the one thing that quarterbacks want the home crowd to do when they go out there? They want them to simmer down so that they can get the play calling clean. Everyone in the huddle can hear it. Instead, Shedeur Sanders, as soon as he comes on the field, he's hyping up the crowd. Let's go, all that sort of stuff. And as soon as I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? So, yeah, kind of figured that Shedeur Sanders was cooked. As soon as that happened. Probably the 4 for 16 passing performance wasn't even the worst thing that happened to him last night. Mary Kay Cabot, excellent beat writer for the Browns. Apparently, Shedeur Sanders' house was broken into during the Browns' loss to the Ravens last night. So, not the best of days for Shedeur. Shedeur will continue as the Browns starter. He is already confirmed, or expected at least, to be the starter when the Browns go to Las Vegas next weekend. The Ravens, as for what they did in this game, they got another win. They're 5-5 now, so they're still getting closer to nipping at the heels of the Steelers here. But going to be honest, what I saw from the Ravens, not, at least offensively, still not too, threatened by them, is what I would say. They don't look like the Ravens of old where, Lamar Jackson is, the boogeyman out there. You don't know where he's going to pop up and extend the play to. Derrick Henry still running okay, but doesn't look like, hopefully, knock on wood, doesn't look like he's going to be running for nearly 200 yards against the Steelers when they play him. And all you need to know, Lamar Jackson threw a pick six to Devin Bush, of all people. Tells you how the Ravens, they may, still be winning. I think they're on a 5-game win streak or something like that now. But still, though, until we see them, not going to exalt them, put them on some sort of pedestal here. Some other extra news relating to the Steelers from the past couple of days. Yesterday, did not mention this in the game recap. Talk about, hopefully, Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Warren and whoever else may be nicked up for the Steelers is all right, including their Keyshawn Williams. I think he took the opening kickoff of the game for the Steelers and then was immediately ruled out, put into concussion protocol. So hopefully Keyshawn Williams is all right. Over to New Jersey, Jets land. It finally happened. Not sure if it helped us in our look for a compensatory pick or not, but the New York Jets reported just 6 hours ago from Diana Rossini of The Athletic. They are benching Justin Fields in favor of Tyrod Taylor, and that benching coming right before the Jets take on the Ravens next weekend, this upcoming weekend, I should say. So no more Justin Fields there for the Jets, no more Russell Wilson for the New York Giants. They even started Jameis Winston over him, so looks like whatever thoughts we could have had for the Steelers getting compensatory picks pretty much stopped where they are. So that sucks. Speaking of former Steelers, Juan Thornhill recently cut from the Steelers so that they could sign Asante Samuel. He got picked up by the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Not sure if that's a practice squad signing or not. Antonio Brown going off the field here for an ex-Steeler. He, according to ESPN, could be facing up to 30 years in prison if convicted on attempted murder charges. I believe he entered a no guilty plea on that. He is accused of grabbing a handgun from a security staffer and firing 2 shots at a person he was in a fight with earlier in the night. So things not looking up for Antonio Brown. True fall from grace continues. On to a more positive and awesome thing to talk about. Cool thing, Cam Hayward. He, of course, great giver, backer in the Pittsburgh community. He today, along with, I think, Charlie Batch, Alex Highsmith, and Broderick Jones, they and the Cam Hayward House partnering with Pittsburgh Food Bank, holding an annual Thanksgiving distribution event, giving out Thanksgiving dinners and other necessities to families in need. Awesome stuff there again from Cam and other Steelers. And wrapping up the Steelers talk here for today, going into the college world here for a sec. Some updates on who the Steelers were looking at this past weekend. The Steelers were, believe, in Louisville to scout Clemson and the Louisville Cardinals. Or, excuse me. Yeah, right? Louisville Cardinals? Yeah. Probably the top guy to pay attention to in that game. Cade Klubnik was thought to be one of the better quarterbacks in this upcoming draft class. He has had a pretty down season for this year, kind of like the entire Clemson football team, but he has bounced back, and he did have a decent game against Louisville, so the Steelers taking a look at him. Steelers also scouted quarterback Dante Moore of Oregon. Oregon also playing Friday night. I think they beat Wisconsin or something. I don't know. I don't remember the final score of that game, but Dante Moore, he's been a high riser up the draft boards. And the Steelers also had scouts at the Notre Dame Pitt game, and I believe, no, did they? No, they did not have scouts at the South Carolina Texas A&M game, but they did have a scout again at the Notre Dame Pitt game. And gotta tell you, didn't know much about this guy until Saturday. Malachi Fields, remember that name? Wide receiver, 6'4" for Notre Dame, just absolutely torched Pitt. Had 2 awesome downfield catches, one of them one-handed, one of them for a touchdown. Keep an eye on that guy possibly for a day 2 wide receiver pick for the Steelers if they don't address that position on night 1. Also, I guess another couple of wide receivers you can say the Steelers are looking at. Antonio Williams for Clemson, Chris Bell for Louisville. There's a couple other wide receivers for Notre Dame as well. So we'll see what the Steelers do with that position when the draft rolls around. One wide receiver who may have taken a bit of a hit in the draft stock, though. We've talked about him here before. Not sure if this has been confirmed or not, but I think Carnell Tate, wide receiver for Ohio State, might be one of the top wide receivers in the draft class. Apparently he has a calf injury. He's going to miss most, if not all, of the remainder of the season. So that sucks. Getting into baseball here real quick for a hot minute in the extra Pittsburgh sports news. The Pirates, in some news headlines recently, the, I guess, positive news for them, they think this came on Saturday, hiring a new third base coach and a new bench coach. This from Jason Mackey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He was the first to report it. The Pirates hiring Christopher Negron as a bench coach and are bringing in Tony Beasley as a third base coach. Beasley with the Pirates organization before. Negron, the guy who most people are talking about here, coming from the Seattle Mariners organization, did split some time as a base coach out there on the field, but Beasley is expected to take over the vacant spot at third base with Mike Rabello gone. Negron, like Don Kelly, this more from Jason Mackey here, a career utility man, started as an assistant to director of player development with Seattle, and then climbed up the ranks, was a AAA West Manager of the Year in 2021. Beasley, 5 years in the Pirates system, managing, was an MLB staffer from 2007 to 2010, spent 10 years with the Texas Rangers as their third base coach. So some experienced coaching coming to the Pirates coaching staff, and dare I say successful coaches as well. Beasley, third base coach for 10 years with the Rangers, who just won the World Series a couple years back, and Negron, who is a Manager of the Year in AAA. I'll take it if you're the Pens, or if you're the Pirates. The other time you heard about the Pirates this weekend, this not so well. College game day was there on the North Shore outside Acrisure Stadium ahead of Pitt Notre Dame. It took, I think, less than 2 minutes for Pat McAfee, Pittsburgh native, Plum born and raised, to bring up the sports teams in Pittsburgh. And don't know why he went this route, but the first Pittsburgh professional sports team he brought up was the Pirates. The crowd there, mostly Pitt students, immediately start to sell the team chant. So those apparently will not be dying down even in the offseason. Also, the Pirates sell the team group, pretty small but still growing group there in the Pittsburgh community. They again, like they did during the baseball season, having a banner flying over the North Shore. The banner from the plane this time: set Pittsburgh free, Bob, sell the team, and at the end, H2P. So, yeah, Pirates fans, doesn't matter what sporting event is going on, they're still going to voice their displeasure for the Pirates, and it's very warranted as well. Last couple of things here on the Pirates. Bucco infielder Cam Devaney acquired, think a couple weeks before the trade deadline, for Adam Frazier. Turns out he is not going to be continuing his baseball career with the Pirates. He signing overseas in Japan, 28 years old, made his MLB debut in August and appeared in 14 games for the Pirates. So he is gone from the organization. On to the Pucks prospect area. Esmeralyn Valdez, fantastic hitting prospect for the Buccos, who is quickly rising up the ranks. He winning Arizona Fall League Offensive Player of the Year, was lighting it up there for some fall baseball, a 368 batting average, an OPS over 1,300, 8 home runs, 27 RBIs, 15th ranked prospect in the Pirates system per MLB Pipeline. Paul Skeens won the Cy Young last time we met in this fashion. We recapped that on Thursday. Very deserved, unanimous Cy Young award recipient, Paul Skeens. He also, Thursday after we went off stream, kind of obvious here, first team All MLB. He, the top pitcher overall across Major League Baseball last year. Also, the Pirates, best believe, are they going to pay Skeens here in Pittsburgh? TBD, probably not. But you best believe they're going to milk every single dollar they can out of that cash cow, because Skeens now, the Bucks coming out with a Cy Young bobblehead that I'm sure is going to be very, very expensive. And the last Pirate thing here for the day, happy birthday a couple of days ago, I think back on Friday, to Pirate first baseman Spencer Horwitz. Wrapping up here with some Pittsburgh Penguins news today. This just some extra stuff. We mentioned it on the Pens game day live streams, but I'll bring it up here again. Gary Bettman, NHL commissioner, he oversees there in Sweden for the Global Series that the NHL ran. He spoke on the Penguins potentially being sold by Fenway Sports Group so soon after they just bought it, I believe, back in 2021. Bettman said he's not worried about if FSG sells. He says assets are bought and sold all the time for many different reasons. FSG's reputation is well known in the sports world. if it does happen, a sale, we'll make sure that it's in good hands. So that sounds like even with ownership still on a somewhat rocky foundation here for the Penguins, the NHL led by Bettman are going to do the right thing and make sure they are well supplemented through a ownership change. And the last two things here on the Pens, some injury updates. We mentioned on Sunday before the Pens and Predators dropped the puck, Ville Koivunen still out day-to-day with a lower body injury, suffered that injury in the Saturday practice between the two games in Stockholm. And the Pens should be getting back some injured players, maybe here soon enough. Rutger McGroarty, Yoel Blomqvist, activated off of injured reserve. They've been there all season. They assigned to Wilkes-Barre Scranton in the AHL. McGroarty, solid opening game for him this season. A goal, took a puck off the face, ended up staying in there and continuing to play. Blomqvist, I believe, had a one-save win as well, so good job for those guys. And just for gigs and shiggles here, some news in the college world that is of importance to some people here in the Western Pennsylvania area. This here from Pete Thamel, the Adam Schefter of college football. James Franklin and Virginia Tech finalizing a deal for Franklin to become the new head coach of the Hokies. Kind of figured that's where he was going to go. Okay, 9 of you in here right now. Going to get back to the comments section real quick, catch up on your comments from the past couple of minutes. Lance, welcome to the party there, Lance. Shout out from Mon Valley as well. Freight train, Ravens suck. Indeed they do. We'll see what happens when the Steelers meet up with them here in a couple of weeks. Al on the prowl, back in here. Our season is going to come down to the Ravens games again. Indeed, Al, and do you want me to be brutally honest? As much as I loved, beating the hell out of the Bengals again, still don't think the Bills game is going to go well. Neither the Lions game, and the Ravens, even though they don't look as dominant as they have been in recent past, I still give them a solid chance to overtake the Steelers in the standings. And yeah, it is going to come down to that, final game of the year, probably Ravens-Steelers. Maybe the Ravens overtake the Steelers and lock up the division, and it's your annual Steelers-Ravens final meeting where the Steelers play Snoop Huntley or whoever the hell the Ravens put out there at quarterback. But yeah, probably right there, Al. It is going to come down to the wire again in the AFC North. Concepts here, Shador sold that game. Looks like a fifth was too much. I'm impartial in regards to Shador. No hate, honestly. That was awful. Ravens haven't had an impressive win all year. Maybe week 2, I guess. Shador did not look good. I will try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let him see what he does here when he's, not thrown into the game sporadically, not having reps with the ones, anything like that. So I will give him the chance to prove me wrong over the next game, maybe 2. But also, is he going to be much? Do I still expect much from him? Absolutely not. I think he's a bit too cocky, gets that from his dad, and he doesn't have a fraction of the talent that his papa had. So Shador, no hate. Honestly, if he does well in his NFL career, then good for him. Just don't expect it from him. Lance, how is Jameis Winston still in the NFL? How is Jameis Winston ever going to not play in the NFL? You're telling me out of all the 32 NFL teams, they're not going to want the most hilarious, dynamic, charismatic quarterback in the NFL on their team, at least for 1 year? Jameis Winston is going to always get contract offers probably until his body fails him, because he is the biggest boom or bust player. And if you need to put him in a pinch, you just hope that you get more boom than you do bust from famous Jameis. These guys are going to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns or 3 interceptions. And it might be both mixed together. So Jameis, he's still going to play in the NFL for as long as he wants. Al on the prowl, tonight's game, 2 of the most hated teams. I know the Cowboys play. Who do they play? Dallas. I did see that they are the team playing tonight, and that they had a nice locker set up for Marshawn Kneeland. Still tragic, that situation. Freight Train here again in the comment section. Don't think we need to draft another quarterback. I say we roll with Howard. He's got to be better than Pickett. Yeah, I mean, Howard, talk about what was going through his mind on Sunday. You just got activated off of IR. You're throwing with little kids pregame as the emergency third quarterback, thinking you don't got a chance of potentially playing in this game. And Rodgers goes down, Rudolph goes in. All of a sudden, hey, kid, your first NFL experience, you're just going to get thrown in there to the wolves as Mason Rudolph goes down. So Howard, still have confidence in him that he can, prove he can be here for a while. Doesn't mean I wouldn't draft another quarterback. First round quarterback, I'm dwindling on that thought. I might, go first round wide receiver more than I would quarterback anymore. But you're telling me maybe early second round rolls around, and I'm probably, undervaluing quarterbacks here when I say these guys could be available in the second round. You're telling me second round rolls around and there may be a Lenora Sellers or John Mateer sitting around there somewhere. I'll take a shot on that. Absolutely. Freight Train again here. Even if we roll with Mason next season, don't see anyone in the draft better than Howard, in my honest opinion. You're right to have that opinion. I mean, I'm not going to say it's wrong, not going to say it's right either, but Howard, just you want to go off a resume? No real quarterback in this year's draft is elevating above what he did. Maybe Fernando Mendoza a little bit, but just this once thought to be historically good quarterback draft fell to crap in a real hurry, and now you don't know what's what, and you're saying we're honestly talking about is this guy really better than Will Howard, who we invested a 6th round pick in? So I feel you there, Freight Train. I do. I'll give it to the Pitt students. Happy they started to sell the team chant. Hate Pitt and PSU. Hate Pitt as a PSU fan, but give props where it's due. Yeah, Freight Train. Honestly, I'll give my alma mater a good bit of credit, the fan base. They packed out the North Shore, gave a really good reputation for Pittsburgh there on College game day, had to sell the team chant. And at least from the TV copy, I knew there was going to be a ton of Notre Dame fans down there. But from the TV copy, didn't really look like Notre Dame overwhelmed Pitt students in terms of who was there at Acrisure Stadium. So, yeah, I'll give Pitt credit. And we're going to wrap up the show here in a minute with Flacco. Jameis should have his own reality show. Just, yes, cameras on Jameis Winston 24/7. Let him just walk around and just film him. It'll do numbers on reality TV, I'll tell you. And then Flacco on cue. Not my cue, but F the Ravens. Yeah, you're good there, Flacco. Knew you were going to come in with that eventually. Even if you had to comment after the live stream, you were at least going to drop one of those in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, still 9 of you in here. One last scroll here through Twitter before we log off for the evening. Some injury update other than the Steelers. Bengals corner Cam Taylor-Britt, who left yesterday's game for Cincinnati, going to have Lisfranc surgery probably, so he is done for the season. Sucks for him. Anything else here? Anything at all that we haven't talked about already? Did talk about a lot here in an hour and a half, a little bit more than that on the channel today. You had some Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey talk. You had some Aaron Rodgers talk. Talked about winners and losers. Penguins hockey, Pirates baseball. We pretty much hit on it all today, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate you sticking with me through that and adding in with your comments and questions as you see fit. So thank you all. Yes, Flacco. One last thing here. Chase is trying to appeal. Indeed, he is. Jamar Chase. He's not going to get it. Honestly, yeah, probably going to say that it's AI. He would too. Probably bring that up as a defense. Oh, I didn't do that. I see the meme everywhere of, dude, they caught you on 4K. This is the clearest video I've ever seen. That ain't me. Yep. I don't know why he appealed. He's gonna lose his game check over $500,000 for a spit. That has got to be the most expensive spit of all time. So yet somehow wanted to appeal it. Don't get it. Every year, from Concepts here, every year next quarterback class will be better. Typing this randomly. Yeah, pretty much all it is anymore with the NFL draft. But, first round quarterback, I'm starting to get a little off-putting on that one. Second round quarterback, though, the right guy is there. I definitely jump all over it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to wrap things up here on a Monday, and that is going to bring an end officially to that crazy weekend that we all just went through together here on the channel. From Friday to Monday, 5 live streams, 4 games, 3 days. Was a crazy ride. Want to once again thank all of you who were here from start to finish for that crazy weekend, and who knows, maybe we'll have another weekend like that in the future, but we'll see. It was a crazy weekend. It was fun, and I want to thank you all for joining me for that, and I want to thank you all for joining me here tonight for the final time this evening. If you would please, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Up to 636 subscribers on channel. I think we entered this past weekend slate of games with 622, so massive bump up in the subscriber department. I thank you all. Turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment after the fact. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and we will reconvene tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we will talk about more of what we talked about today, probably more Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey stuff, Aaron Rodgers stuff, but probably the headliner tomorrow, barring some big breaking news, will be the Mike Tomlin Tuesday press conference. We'll break down what Coach T said, the injury update that he'll give, and some other interesting tidbits from his press conference. So thank you all. Have a good rest of your Monday night. We will reconvene tomorrow about the same time, 5:30-ish, and it'll be fun. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Monday evening. Peace.